2025 was supposed to be another step forward in aviation safety, but instead it became a painful reminder that even with modern technology, flying still carries risk. From catastrophic collisions to tragic takeoff failures, these are the 10 worst commercial airplane disasters of 2025, ranked by fatalities. Let's dive into the human stories, the hard facts, and the lessons we can't afford to ignore. Air India Flight 171, a Dreamliner's final descent. On June 12, 2025, Air India Flight 171, a Boeing 7878 Dreamliner, tail number VT-ANB, bound for London Gatwick, lifted off from Ahmedabad just past 1:30 p.m. AST. The aircraft, 12 years into service, had 230 passengers and 12 crew on board. Seconds into the climb, something went horribly wrong. Witnesses say the plane tilted aggressively, then plunged in flames into a nearby medical college building. The impact and subsequent explosion were devastating. 241 people on board perished along with 28 civilians on the ground, bringing the total death toll to 269. Miraculously, one passenger, seated near the wing, Seat 11A, survived with severe burns. Investigators suspect a possible flap or gear configuration error, or even a mechanical failure related to thrust control during takeoff. This remains India's worst aviation disaster since 1996. American Airlines Flight 5342, a mid-air tragedy. On January 29, 2025, at around 8:47 p.m. Eastern Time, American Airlines Flight 5342, Bombardier CRJ-700, operated by PSA Airlines, was en route from Reagan National Airport to Norfolk, Virginia, carrying 60 passengers. At the same time, a U.S. Army Black Hawk UH-60L was operating nearby during a training exercise. Air traffic miscommunication led to a deadly collision over the Potomac River. Both aircraft disintegrated mid-air and plummeted into the water. All 67 individuals, 60 on the CRJ, 7 aboard the helicopter, were killed. The NTSB launched an extensive investigation, focusing on radar, misalignment, and lack of synchronized flight corridor, notifications between military and civilian controllers. This was the deadliest mid-air crash in American airspace in over 20 years. Light Air Services, Beechcraft 1900D crash in South Sudan. That same day, January 29, 2025, another tragedy struck in South Sudan. A 23-year-old Beechcraft 1900D turboprop operated by Light Air Services departed Unity Airstrip, carrying 19 passengers and 2 crew, mostly oil workers heading to Juba International. Shortly after takeoff, the aircraft lost altitude and slammed into dry terrain. Only one person survived the impact. The remaining 20 passengers and crew perished. Preliminary reports suggest structural failure in the right wing due to aging components and improper maintenance. The incident sparked serious scrutiny of aircraft servicing standards in developing regions. Aerolínea lança Flight 018, Jetstream 32 into the sea. On March 17, 2025, Aerolínea lança Flight 018 took off from Rotan Airport, destined for La Ceiba, Honduras, in a 35-year-old BA Jetstream 32. Just minutes into flight, the aircraft experienced a dual-engine failure and couldn't maintain altitude. It crashed into the sea amid high winds and moderate turbulence. 13 people were killed on impact or shortly after, while 5 survivors were rescued clinging to wreckage. The aircraft's age and lack of modern redundancy systems were key focus areas for investigators. Bering Air Flight 445 vanished over Alaska. On February 6, 2025, Bering Air Flight 445, a 2020-built Cessna 208B Grand Caravan X, departed from Unalakleet to Nome, a short regional route in western Alaska. The aircraft vanished from radar over Norton Sound, where icy winds and poor visibility ruled. A search team found the wreckage frozen in pack ice the next morning. All 10, souls on board 9 passengers and 1 pilot, died instantly. Overloading and ice accumulation on the wings are considered likely causes of the crash. Safety tips that could save your life. 1. Always wear your seatbelt, even when the sign is off. Unexpected turbulence can throw passengers into ceilings or aisles. 2. Dress wisely. Avoid sandals, shorts, and synthetic fibers. Opt for cotton sneakers and long sleeves, helpful during evacuations and reducing injury. 3. Avoid last-minute flights on under-maintained airlines. Check airline safety records, especially in developing nations where maintenance oversight may lag. Stay alert to weather warnings. Use flight tracking apps to anticipate delays or turbulence zones. What these disasters teach us. 2025 reminded us that while air travel remains statistically safe, it's not immune to failure. Miscommunication, mechanical errors, aging fleets, and even ice buildup. Each can shatter lives in seconds. But through better design, smarter systems, vigilant regulation, and prepared passengers, we can reduce these risks. Every lesson learned from these tragedies becomes another brick in the foundation of safer skies. Let's honor the victims by demanding more accountability, innovation, and awareness. So the next chapter in aviation isn't written in fire and wreckage, but in lives safely landed.